So today on Pat's car driveway, so you can see I'm not in the garage, we're going to be replacing the factory old school but pretty awesome radio with the Continental, which one? I always forget what it is, TR7412UB-OR. It's a complicated name, but apparently it's a very good radio. So, first thing you'll need is obviously the radio keys, which I have here. So to remove the radio, it's pretty simple. Set your camera down so that you can use both hands, because you'll need both. So you take the keys and you put them curved side inwards. So they go in here, it's two little cutouts, push it all the way in, take this one, push it all the way in, and pull the radio out. Then to remove the keys, you just click here on this side like metal tab and you can pull the key out. So do both sides. Now I'm going to unplug the rear connectors. The top connector is the CD changer. The middle connector goes to the speakers. And the bottom connector is power and ground and all that stuff. And finally, there's also the antenna plug. So, I'm going to set that aside. Now, before I proceed to install the radio, I got to test one thing out. Apparently, you'll get a shot of the pin layout of the radio. So here you got all the pin layout. Apparently, on the A connector, pins 4 and 7 are reversed on the factory. So A4 is supposed to be ignition and A7 is supposed to be battery plus. Apparently Mercedes has these two flipped, so A4 is going to be battery plus and A7 is going to be ignition. So I'm going to test that out quickly with a multimeter just to make sure that everything's legit, and if it's not, I'll have to flip those two around. So now I'm going to try A4 and we've got 12 volts. So these two pins are indeed flipped, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to flip those around later. But yeah, anyway, so about installing the radio, I've already done a test fit and I've discovered a couple of things. So first of all, you can't just slide in the Continental radio because it's not designed to go into the standard DIN frame. If you try that, it's just gonna be, well, I see it just flopping around. So it's obviously not designed for being just slid in as a direct replacement. They have their own frame that ships with the radio, and they have their own set of proprietary keys to lock the radio in. So now the question is how to install this thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the battery, because I'm going to be, you know, swapping the wires around and whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the negative terminal and also the positive one. So now the battery is disconnected, so now I got to remove the climate control unit, and I'm not 100% sure if all you got to do is the same trick with the radio, but I'm going to go ahead and try. So press that in, press this in, and well, guess what? It's the exact same thing that you got to do. Now there's two wires back here which you got to disconnect. There's a rather chunky wire, and there's also a smaller one. And now it's going to be about removing this thing. There's 4 screws which I believe need to be removed. I can see 2 down here, and there's another 2 underneath here, so you got to unscrew those. So I got a small screwdriver here, and I'm going to unscrew these guys. They're very small, so be careful not to lose them. Ooh, yeah, bless myself. Okay. I'll just put them in the little cubby hole that's underneath the radio. Let's see if this just lifts out. Yeah, I paused the video, but it was just stuck because of old age here on the side. But you just have to give it a stiff pull and it came out. So now I'm just going to unplug the back over here. Cool. So now you've removed the front piece. So I saw some more screws. I'm going to try removing as much as I can. But I'm starting to think that the frame's going to have to be modified because this is all one plastic piece apart from this part here, which removes. Just kind of curious. But, well, what you going to do? If anything, I might flip the positions of both things around. We'll see. I'll gotta unscrew some more things and see exactly where that leads me. So now, those are the screws for what seems to be the center vent. Okay. That's one down. And another one. There you go. And now, there's 4 more screws that seem to be holding this plastic piece in. Everything else seems to have been removed already, so hopefully that's all that's left. So there's 2 up here. There's another one too, kind of half hidden just above the cubby hole. Yeah, that's it. That's all that needs to be removed. Alright. It's funny. Okay, so I'll just pass this out. And we've got this middle section removed. So good progress about how to remove pins from the ISO or DIN connectors, whatever they are called. So on the side of the plastic connector, you'll find this little tab thing that slides out. This actually locks the pins in place. You just push it out with a really thin screwdriver, pull it out. Ah, crap! I accidentally flicked my tool into the pit of doom. Crap. Oh well, I'll have to get another clip. So then what you need to do to actually pull a pin out, you might have seen it attached to this before I flung it into the freaking dashboard, was a paper clip. You open up a paper clip, you just give it 2 equal ends and you stick it on the sides of the pin, because on the sides of the pin there's little metal teeth that stick out that hold on to the pin. So once you push those in, just twist the paper clip around while pulling on the cable, and eventually you'll remove it. So not a huge deal. It's good to do it this way because you're not cutting into the harness. It takes about 2 minutes. It's actually probably a lot faster to do it this way than to like cut the harness and flip the wires around and solder it. So whatever, not a big deal here. Happy that it's gone this easy. Now I just discovered something that I gotta warn you about. These pins actually have an orientation. I mean, obviously they have to be vertically aligned like this, but I mean, it matters if it's like this or like this, because if it's the wrong way around, you won't pass the little plastic retainer tab back through. So I'm gonna have to flip both of them around because I got them the wrong way in. Just look down the hole where the retainer goes into. It should be clear all the way to the other side. If you see a little bit of metal sticking up, that pin that you just moved, it has to be flipped upside down. And now I've got both the wires flipped. So in my case it was blue and red, had to be flipped with pink and green. Now that they're both flipped, I'm good to go. And so a solution was found. So I did a couple of things to modify this plastic piece to accept the bracket that comes with the Continental radio. So the first thing, I drilled a big hole through here, through both the metal piece and the plastic, and the reason for that was to be able to pass a screwdriver through here to screw a screw down here. This effectively locks the Continental frame into the plastic frame. Now, this type of screw here, what it specifically is a computer case fan screw. They have a very, very low profile head, which is why I like them. This is actually no higher than this, like, this metal lip that's right here. So this means that this doesn't catch on the radio as it slides in. Now the next problem was, well, the locking mechanism was obviously blocked by the plastic, so I just heated up a box cutter blade with a propane torch, and I just cut the plastic around the mechanism that locks the radio in place. So this allows this to swivel outwards to unlock the radio by pushing the key, the special Continental keys into the radio. So now all that's left is to put everything back in and test it out. There it is. Just gonna slide the frame back into the top here. Make sure everything locks in place and that it's good to go. There you go. That's locked in place now. So this I can just slide it back in. Gotta plug this back in. Cool. So that's plugged back in. Okay, pulled it out. Well, there you go. All the screws are back in. So get the big connector on. Latch it on. Get the small connector and latch it on. I love these Mercedes connectors. They're so fantastically easy to use. Okay, slide the climate control. Just gonna slide this back in. Not sure why it's jamming. There you go. So climate control's on the bottom now. It's gonna be funny to get used to, but what you gonna do? And now the radio. Oh, really don't got a lot of room to plug these guys in. 1 and 2. And the radio, the antenna, sorry. And for some reason it's not locking in, which is not awesome. I think I know why though. I think I'm gonna have to there's these edges here. I thought I might get away with not having to grind them down, but I will have to. Oh, that's fine. It'll sink the radio a bit deeper. So, gotta restart. Anyway, so the problem what was happening was the radio was catching on the edge. You see there's a little bottom lip here. That's what it was catching on. It wasn't letting the radio slide all the way back and lock into the frame. So the solution was to just take a rotary rasp and just grind it off until the edge was gone. So, yep, that was it. I'm hoping that this will now solve the issue. By the way, the central buttons here, they're just held on by clips, so you can just pop them back in. Just gotta put them in here and push it in. When the clips lock in, you've got the central buttons back in. Right, so now it's time to do attempt number 2. Now's the moment of truth. See if the radio is gonna go in and lock in place. It should. There's no reason why it shouldn't. Ah, I heard it lock in place. Awesome. Now I just gotta fit the frame. Nice. And there you have it. Makes a very snug fit too. Perfect. Awesome. Quite happy with that. So now I've got to test everything out, which means I got to reconnect the battery and switch the car on and configure it, because you got to set it to, you know, like in my case I got to set it to North America so it receives the correct radio stations, and yeah, some things like that. Oh, I don't think that one clipped in. Oh no, I didn't click that in properly. Okay, wait, gotta redo it. Okay. Ah, there you go. Now I got it. Right, now it's good. That edge wasn't correctly pushing. Anyway, so yeah, I got to reconnect the battery, configure it. You got to set basically two things. You got to set the frequency range to North America. So you do that by, you know, you just watch your user manual to figure out how to do it. You got to set it to North America or whatever, wherever you are in the world. And then you can also set the logic to on. Logic on is the setting that will allow you to turn the radio on even if the key isn't in the ignition. So that's how the factory radio works. So that's what I'm going to keep. So that's configurable, and then I'm going to test out the sound system, adjust the amplifier for the subs, and see how that works. And also remove the CD changer in the back since I won't be needing it anymore.